welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters bonus show. This is a show we make each and every week for our lovely and loyal patrons. My name is Jacob Balcom.
I'm Matt Howell.
And tonight, dear friends, we are going to be talking about a film from 1975?
Yes, this is 75.
Yes, okay. 75, and it is called The Astrologer. It's directed by James Glickenhaus. The auteur, James Glickenhaus. Because one thing that I did love, that I'll just say at the top, after you watch this film, after you hear us talk about it, the director believed so much in this film that he drove from city to city with the 35 millimeter print in his trunk, delivered it to the cinemas himself. That's love.
Yep. Yeah, Glickenhaus was a big believer in this thing.
Yeah, he really was.
And this was the one that was adapted from a novel written by his father-in-law?
His father-in-law wrote the novel, yeah. Robert Cameron, I think the guy's name is. And yeah, pretty crazy.
I think it's John Cameron, but I'm not
John Cameron,
sure.
yes.
Yes, and I would say that, so we saw this for free on Tubi. I can't remember where else it's available. It's around a bit. The thing that's confusing is that there was a film in 76 called The Astrologer, which is completely different. And they are conflated even on some IMDb pages, even on Wiki. People do not know which one is which. So it's a coin toss.
It is.
So we're going to focus on the 75 one. I will talk a little bit about what I saw of the one from the following year, because it's an ego-exploitation project, which is quite interesting. But this one is a political thriller, would you say? I imagine the book is, at least.
I guess so. Yeah. There's I mean, it's about an interesting secret part of the government that, investigates astrology. And
so let's talk a minute about Glickenhaus. So he wrote the screenplay uncredited. Then his next big splash was this surprise B exploitation movie called The Exterminator that starred that guy from Paper Chase. What's his name? Robert Ginty. And it's this kind of Death Wish, kind of people are pushing back against crime, one of those movies, but it's really violent and whatever. And it was a surprise hit and made a bunch of money. So that was his first big thing. And then he did a sequel in 84. So the Exterminator was 80. He wrote Shakedown, that movie with Sam Elliott and Peter, from RoboCop.
I think I've actually heard of that movie.
Shakedown?
Yeah.
It was a studio thing.
That's a big movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. He wrote that, which was a pretty successful film in 88. There's a McBain movie he wrote, something called Slaughter of the Innocents, which I've heard of in 93, and then something that was insanely bad called Time Mastered from 95, which I really want to see. So
I saw that in his IMDb that there's a movie called McBain.
Yes.
So is that, I mean, I know that the Simpsons thing is more referencing Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, but yeah, is McBain, I mean, are they taking from that at all for the Simpsons?
It just says it stars Christopher Walken and Maria Conchita Alonso, who I love.
I love her too.
A former Vietnam War lieutenant reforms his old team in order to help a revolutionary's sister overthrow a ruthless dictator. That doesn't sound like my thing.
No, that doesn't sound like my thing. I'd rather see McBain trying to save UNICEF pennies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this film did not star Christopher Walken.
No.
Nor Robert Ginty, nor Sam Elliott or Peter Weller. This starred a guy named Bob Byrd, B-Y-R-D, like the politician of yore. And he looked I think I said he looked like an anemic Ray Davies at one point. He's not British, but he seemed like this very just disheveled bureaucratic.
A little Jonathan Price, I think, in there.
Jonathan Price than Ray
think
Davies.
Jonathan Price was the one that we landed on that he looked most like.
Yes. And he is married to a woman of 5 months. They have not had sex yet. We find out why, but her name is Monica Tidwell. She was a Playboy playmate, and she was from the South, and this was her kind of breakthrough thing. She did a few She has something called the Yum Yum Girls. Like, I don't know what that is.
boy.
But yeah, but I guess it's just a sex comedy. But she did some horror and sex comedy stuff. But yeah, and one of the producers, Mark Buntsman, played Kajurst. Yeah, and Al Narcisse played Congressman Joe Harwell. He looked kind of familiar. People were kind of familiar in this, but I don't think the first thing that. So I saw this in the watch along. Thank you everyone who showed up for that. That was so I did that thing where we went to see Beau Was Afraid in the afternoon. I had some pizza and popcorn, so I wasn't really hungry for dinner. And we just got home. I didn't realize Beau Was Afraid is 3 hours, so we barely had time to get home and boot up for the movie. So I was like, well, I'll just have a cocktail. I'm not hungry enough for dinner. I have time anyway, so I had a double martini, and then I had some weed to help, and then so the movie was very fuzzy. So I watched it again sober last night, just to make sure I could talk about it intelligently. And
that was my favorite. That was my favorite part of the watch along, where I was just like, Jesus, Matt's been gone like a half hour.
That too. I was talking to somebody popped by, and I just was saying hi to them while I went down to grab a glass of water or something. So I did miss a big chunk in the middle.
But you rewatched it.
I did rewatch it, and I feel like I can talk about it now, competently. Yeah. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Well, I mean, I guess it starts with the government agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we learned that there's the secret government agency that is mostly involved with figuring out a catchphrase or buzzword, if you will, for this film, which is zodiacal potential. ZPs. And we laughed so hard and instantly turned it into a drinking game. And I got pretty drunk.
It's hard to do with a martini, by the way. Have a drinking game.
Oh yeah, no. I was drinking Ramitas, and then I had to switch to just Chinar and soda, so I wouldn't, vomit by the end of it. And because there's a lot of zodiacal potential. Like you said, there's these. Well, I don't know. It was so weird watching it, and I think during the watch along, it was so surreal. I didn't watch it again, so I'm at a bit of a loss. I think you probably know more about it, but what you were saying is that it seemed like two different films. There's this government thing where there's an agency that's trying to, harness the potential of the zodiac, the zodiacal potential. Mm-hmm. And then it's this total other movie with this cult leader in India. And they do meet at a certain point, mm-hmm. which is really, that was almost one of my favorite parts. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it suddenly seems like the lead, the woman, what's her name? Monica Tidwell? Is that
the
her
actress,
name?
Yeah.
Yeah, the actress. And she's been with her husband. We see her naked a lot. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly she's in India. And so did that make any more sense to you on the second watch?
Yeah, turns out that wasn't India.
Okay.
Kajurst somehow came to the States, and they kidnapped her and took her away to upstate New York. That's where all those gypsies were.
How?
I don't know. Renee jumped in and watched the last 20 minutes with me, and she's like, wait, what?
Okay.
This is New York?
Okay.
Did Buffalo and then gypsy camps.
Did I miss a little thing? One of the coolest things I thought about this movie is that they do a real kind of photo negative effect, and then they have this really cool font go across, a little screen. It's
old school DOS
total font. DOS font, and it tells you what's going on, where you're at. Mm-hmm. I actually could have used that a lot more than they used. Mm-hmm. Actually, I wish they would have used that almost every other scene, just to clarify. But I think what I'd like to talk about most of all is the actress. Monica is her accent, which is phenomenal. So obviously, she's from the South. I think her character is supposed to be British. Am I wrong there?
I don't believe so. I don't think it was ever said. They've been married for 5 months. She was a student in his math class, which is his mm-hmm. cover. He has a civilian cover where he's a math professor. And he starts courting her, not because he's a sleazy college professor, that old trope. He's actually knows her ZP and knows that where she was born and when. Basically, guys, they've taken all of astrology and all of the known cosmos and put them into a giant supercomputer that can figure out potentials, like we're saying, of different things. So she has the same potential as the Virgin Mary had before Christ was born. Like they were born in the same circumstances. So the government, the CIA, whatever you would call the shadow wing, has every reason to believe that she is going to birth the next Messiah. And so they're of interest. And so that is why he marries her and won't sleep with her, which confuses and upsets her, obviously. She's like 24 years old and her 45-year-old husband won't sleep with her. And there's a weird porn star guy that hangs around with her. That's her friend from college. That part was weird.
That was so weird. He's just suddenly this glistening guy with a mustache is just watching.
Yeah.
Like from the other room.
Like Giallo porn Mario. So the Kajur storyline that you're talking about was they also pinpointed his existence based on, they thought he was born at a certain place in time in India, and that he was this really strong, like leader, like a Jim Jones or a Manson or something, but not necessarily negative. So they're keeping an eye on him. And then they realized throughout the film that they did their math wrong, or part of the war is wrong. And he was actually born on this mountain during a storm at night. And then they refigured it and realized, oh, he's basically like, this is the potential to be essentially Satan or Hitler, super Hitler.
Yeah. Super Hitler.
So they were watching him. So a lot of this, guys, if you don't, I'm trying to think. The only thing I could think of the whole time was like, isn't this basically what Hydra was infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. to do in Winter Soldier?
Yeah,
Weren't
totally.
they calculating everyone's, like, all their stats and saying, like, that kid right there, he's probably going to be a fascist in 35 years, so let's just kill him. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. That's the only thing I could think of that connected to this, was just like using math to figure out the probability of someone having a huge impact on global outcomes and making really tough decisions about it. Yeah, the thing I thought, this is weird. So I didn't care for it much as a movie. I was enjoying watching it with you guys and being high and very buzzed. But watching it again, I kind of liked it. But that's as a guy who's watched a lot of bad movies and it's kind of like, you know, liking different types of like cat shit or something like that. Like,
yeah,
you say that one's that's Fancy Feast. So that's actually a little bit better cat shit than your normal cat shit. So I ended up enjoying it in a weird way the second time through. It's so broken and off. You can tell that the book was probably a mildly entertaining political thriller, even if it wasn't well written. Just like this idea was interesting. It was in the ether at this time. Astrology, blah, 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 CIA, secret government stuff. So it all just kind of felt like it was just growing like a fungus under something, you know, out of the sun. But yeah, first of all, my main beef, the main character Bob Bird plays as Alexei Abernell, and everyone says his name constantly, and it bugged the shit out of me. Renee walked in the room again, like the last 15, 20 minutes, and was like, why does everyone say his name? And why is his name Alexei? And why is everyone saying it every time they refer to him?
Well, and don't people say it, like, pronounce it differently too? Like, does
No, I think
everyone say
everyone says
Alexei?
Alexei, but
Okay,
it
it's
was
Alexei. It's never Alexei.
I've just never not heard it Alexei. I've always heard it pronounced Alexei when I've heard it spelled like that.
Yeah, I know. It was weird. The Alexei thing was really weird. I think the second half of the movie we did notice. So this movie took 2 years to make, off and on. Obviously, there were like budgetary problems. I guess so. So in the trivia, there is a Blu-ray of this, Matt.
Okay.
And some of the IMDb trivia talked about that in the Blu-ray, there are these it says producers and on-set crew members, Brendan Faulkner and Frank M. Farrell, said half the crew walked off the set at one point due to money issues, forcing them to do jobs on set they weren't trained for, like cinematography.
Holy shit.
So we mentioned this. There's this long scene where there's this conversation between two people, and it's filmed from the back. You just see the back of their heads. And I get that that's maybe like an ADR thing. I understand that. But yeah, I mean, as the film progressed, just the actual filmmaking of it just disintegrates in a really weird way. And that explained a lot, I thought.
Yeah.
So suddenly you got the guy who's like craft services, and they're just like, get behind the camera, champ. This is your time to shine.
Bagels.
Yeah.
So even on the IMDb page, it says storyline, a scientist works for a secret government agency. We get that. Then you go down to taglines. He's the gypsy king of the carnival men. To be famous, he lies, cheats, steals, and even sometimes kills. Like,
not the same movie.
You're literally mixing up between one poster breakdown and IMDb. You're mixing this movie up.
Oh man, that's great. So these were released less than 12 months away from each other. I mean, they were. It's crazy.
So my understanding is that the 1976 one, which I watched a bit of, it's available free on Internet Archive. You cannot rent it or put it on YouTube because they stole a Moody Blues song and didn't pay for any rights or anything. So basically, it can't be monetized.
Yeah, but that's so funny because when I was looking this film up, the one that we watched, I was like, oh, there's some kind of Moody Blues song in it, I guess. And so I was waiting for a Moody Blues song the entire time we were watching it. And I'm just like, oh, I guess not. But no, it was the other one. It was the Circus Carnival Psychic Con Man one that had the Moody Blues in it. Okay.
So some things of note before we move off of this. When they are using their satellites to peep in on Kajurst, there was some footage that I couldn't tell if it was like Faces of Death fake stuff or if it was actual newsreel footage of dead people in India, but there's just like mutilated corpses. Like there's a kid.
Yeah, that was so fucked up. That looked real. That was absolutely
bloated
real.
Corpses like floating in the Ganges and like what looked like with like, like distended breasts and penises, like they've been floating and just bloating and swelling.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely real footage. And that was so fucked up. It didn't make any sense. And yeah, he obviously is just like, oh, he wanted to make kind of a salacious, like grindhouse type movie. And he already had this playmate that would just be fully nude whenever he wanted her to. And so, yeah, I guess he just, because it's so weird because the way that we see the footage is like these scientists and stuff are watching it like on a film strip or something. And so we see this, and yeah, that is absolutely fucking dead, rotting bodies in the Ganges.
Yeah. So that was disturbing. I know that they were trying to emphasize that Kajurst was ruthless and had zodiacal potential to be super Hitler, but
drinking.
Yeah. Sorry.
Super Hitler.
There's one thing we didn't mention, and I forgot about her until I rewatched it. There's a woman called like Baz, or like I forgot what her nickname is. Like her Allison McCarthy was the actress. She had kind of a Janet Wood, Three's Company kind of vibe, the cute brunette with the bob, and
yeah.
But she's like this badass agent, and like so. There's some cool pseudoscience in here. Like there's one point where they're basically, holy shit, they're trying to do like Inception. They have to get into his camp, to Kajur's camp, shoot these electrodes. They've been doing experiments with video and audio footage through electrodes directly into the brain. So they're trying to show Kajur's an image, Inception, to make him act in a way they want him to react, to manipulate him and his power.
That's awesome.
And if he wakes up before they shoot him with this dart and do the procedure, he'll be aware of it and he can't be incepted. It's fucking Inception.
That is Inception. It absolutely is. You're right.
And I thought she was super cute. So
she was super cute.
I like that character.
No, and Alita, I mean, Monica Tidwell is gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a cutie too.
Just what you'd think, like a Playboy playmate. Yeah. Yeah, like just some kind of Southern playmate.
Strawberry blonde.
1973, like she
full
is.
Frontal.
She is gorgeous, full frontal.
You see everything. You see everything. Yeah, and I won't spoil the ending. The ending's pretty entertaining. I was amused. This thing won me over on a sober watch. I was like, I know it's deeply flawed. I know it's boring, but there's something really charming about it. Like,
I loved it. I'm gonna watch
all
it
that
again.
shit with the electrodes and stuff. Like, it's like there's cool stuff in here. I bet the book is fun and a pulpy, like I'm reading this on the beach on vacation kind of way. But I actually recommend it, oddly enough, and I'm surprised that I am.
I do too. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was super weird and fun and trashy and in a lot of good ways. It was super fun to watch on the watch along. That was one of my favorite ones. I thought like everyone was just getting in on it and yelling and just having, I don't know. I thought it was a really fun time.
Yes, that might have been our most populous watch along as well, I think, at that point.
Yeah, there were tons of people. It was great.
So that's cool. So I was thinking all day, like, what is my antidote for this? You can watch again that 1976 version, which is this guy who he fakes being a psychic and like carnival stuff to make money. No. And then he turns out he actually can do it. And it's his like rise through just like, doing this and then touring and then becoming a Vegas act, and then he starts informing politicians, and then he's like the president or something. Like it's that whole like rock and roll rise type of thing, but with a psychic instead of a rock and roll star. And it's really fucking weird. And you can see it on Internet Archive, a nice 2K recent scan of it for free.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
So I watched like the first 30 minutes last night. I'm going to watch the rest of it later. I was going to recommend that, but then the more I thought about the Inception stuff and I was really like, well, if you don't like this, you might like Winter Soldier. Because again, that's just what Hydra was doing. They were proposing using your ZPs to wipe out future threats to humankind.
I'm kind of shocked that you're trying to come up with an antidote.
I don't need one. No, I'm not offering one. No, it's a claw up. I'm not gonna lie, man. I went back and forth on it a little bit, but the second watch through and then sitting with it all day, I'm like, no, I recommend it. I just want people to know it is boring. Like this is not Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. This is not like breakneck speed of just crazy stuff and just Russ Meyer like topping himself each scene, or Roger Corman. Like it's slow and dull and stupid, but there's some cool ideas and accidental entertainment in it.
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I'm gonna watch it again. Not even for the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, and I'd be curious about the Blu-ray. Actually, there's a Blu-ray of this.
On That's Cool, That's Trash, we used to ask people to note their tap out time, which was the first time in the film when they stop, pause the movie, and say, "Ooh, I'm 17 minutes in. Okay, I can do another hour and 5 minutes." I didn't do it on the rewatch. I actually didn't play solitaire. I didn't do it. I just actually sat and watched the movie and was totally entertained. So, yeah,
no antidote for me. Claw up. I loved it. Okay, so we got to pick another movie. I'm going to start getting ready to film here.
Okay. I'm going to pull up the list of the damned.
Okay, pull up the list of the damned.
It's up.
All right. I am rolling. Filming.
Come on, 3. Come on, 3.
28.
Ooh, nice. We get to see one of the trilogy of folk horror, Blood on Satan's Claw.
Oh, cool.
I've been wanting to watch this again for a while. I'm excited. Yay, I know this is good. Have you seen it yet?
I don't think I have. I think I've read about it. I think didn't they, in that super long documentary, wasn't that mentioned in that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So it's considered big, right? The Unholy Trinity is Wicker Man, Witchfinder General, and Blood on Satan's Claw.
Gotcha. I've seen Witchfinder General. I've never seen Blood on Satan's Claw.
Well, this is fucking awesome. I'm excited.
It's going to be great.
Content warning, trigger warning, something. There's a young girl who is kind of like the evil influence on the all children of the village, and she's frequently nude, and she looks like she's like 16. So it makes you feel weird feelings. You're going to have some weird feelings.
Okay. Well, glad you put that warning in there. Yeah.
But it's a fucking amazing movie. You're going to love it. I can't wait to watch it again.
No, that'll be great.
Cool. Devil done you good.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah, I felt like he just kept putting me in the basement all the time, but
yeah. Well,
don't put Daddy in the corner.
Yeah, well, you have never actually rejected God. I have personally rejected God. So
can we cut to the footage of that, Stan?
Yeah,
let's watch that. I just love the highlight reels. What is that? Is that a form that you fill out in triplicate, or is it just something you do on your own? Just between you and him?
Yeah. No, Satan and I we have a special relationship. Because game recognizes game.
Yes, it does. It's funny. He has that tattoo on his lower back.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I just want to say congratulations on your change in employment status.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So, as a lot of listeners know, I've been working part-time at the Klamath County Library. I just got a full-time position. I'm in the youth services. I'm going to be organizing teen programs. So I will be in charge of youth.
Youth.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to, hide my drug use as much as possible. And,
it's legal now.
Yeah. Well, county, not so much, but, yeah. So, I'm very
like
excited.
Otto's jacket.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm pretty excited. I'm going to have to kind of like, yeah, come up with different programs for teens. There's a big summer reading program that Klamath County Library does. Keeps us all really busy. Teens read stuff, get prizes. It's very, very busy. And yeah, so I'm excited. You know, I've never had a job that I'm going to have a desk, an extension. I'm going to I get full benefits. County benefits are fucking awesome.
Say hi to Frank Grimes for me.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm going to have like, I don't
Turn
know.
your mug around.
Yeah. I just keep thinking of that Bob's Burgers episode where he has that nightmare that he works in an office.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
He's going through his emails. He's like, a lot of spam. And then but I've had to like sign birthday cards. I love how Bob, like, you know, they whisper, they're like, here's the birthday card.
Yep.
Bob signs it. He's like, to the J-Man. So I'm already doing that. I'm already signing birthday cards. This is a real job, which I have avoided like the plague my entire life. But now I'm middle-aged and broke, so this is the way to do it, I guess. And so, and for some reason, I conned my way into this. So
that's awesome.
As long as none of my bosses are watching the bonus show up, I'm pretty sure I'll be okay.
And you pulled this off without a reference from me somehow.
I did. They tried, Matt. They tried a second time, and you didn't answer. So, you know, that's okay.
Yeah, probably for the best. So like when you do the summer reading program thing, is that just like the typical one the libraries do, like with points for reading thing, and you're trying to earn like, okay, so they don't do like a like a book clubby thing, like of a kids classic.
Oh, and, they do that too. I think they do that more for like kids and tweens, but yeah, there's the point system. There's prizes.
Yep, I remember those.
Yeah, and it made me think like, did you do the Pizza Hut thing? Did you do the you'd read books? There, Pizza Hut had this thing where you'd get like a personal pan pizza or something.
That might have been after me. I don't remember that. Pizza Hut was kind of new, like by the time I was in high school. Like.
Okay.
We only had Pietro's and Black Knight.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're only 2 years apart, so
I just don't think there was a Pizza Hut in North Bend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Even when I was
in high school.
Yeah, when I was a kid, Pizza Hut did this thing where you'd read a bunch of books and you get free stuff and things like that. But it's really cool. I guess the summer reading program here is really big and really awesome. Well attended, and the youth service. So yeah, I'll be working at the youth services desk, which I'm excited for. You know, I like kids. I like kids. I like working with kids. It's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for the congrats, because I feel pretty good about it.
I'm glad. More ties to keep you there. You know, get you out of my hair.
I know. I never would have expected. But
King of K Falls.
Yeah, King of K Falls. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
So when does that start? The full time. Is that immediate?
May 1st?
Oh,
yeah. Cool. I mean, I'm going to be working halftime.
Oh, you have a week to fuck it up.
Yeah, I have a week to fuck it up. But no, I have so I had to like kind of come up with things. Sometimes they have these different programs where, you know, teens just come in and watch anime and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to improve on that. I'm like, I'm going to do a history of anime thing. And
there you go. A structure and content.
A little structure. I get to, you know, do a little presentation. So I'm looking at all these like different lost animes from the teens. There's one that you can find that's basically like a riff on the Fleischer Brothers Out of the Inkwell. Do you remember that, where like Coco the Clown would come out of the inkwell and
they show him at the silent the Hollywood? Yeah. All the time.
So there's a Japanese version of this, and
I've never seen them.
It's so cool. Even though it was funny, like I'm researching this and I'm like, wow, not a lot of stuff. And then I'm reading and they're like, well, 96% of Japan's film was lost between the 1923 earthquake and something called World War II. So 4% of films before 1945 have survived.
Trump's been talking about that. It says the N-word. Yeah. The other N-word. No one's talking about it. But there's a lot of consequences for using the N-word.
Oh my God! So I figured I was kind of researching, and I think I'm going to start with Astro Boy and Gigantor. I think that was when anime actually kind of started to take on characteristics that we know of today: the big eyes, the kind of oversized head, the stylistic choices. So Tohei, I think, was one of the early companies that did that.
Yeah.
So I have a plan to kind of do a history of anime for the teens.
I love it. I don't know a ton about that stuff, so I'm not going to pretend like I do, but I know a little bit. And if you want any suggestions for some stuff, there's also a series that was like in the 60s early on, but it was God, I'm totally blanking on the name, but it's like Yokai Boy or something, or Yokai Spook. I'll figure it out. But he's like a little demon, a cute little demon spirit, and he has all his demon friends, and like it's just super charming. Cool. It's kind of like My Neighbor Totoro kind of thing, but with just yokai monsters.
That sounds awesome.
I'll send that to you when I remember the name of it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't read a lot of manga, but I really love anime from like the 50s to the early 80s. Yep. So it's like, Gigantor, Astro Boy to Lupin the Third, Galaxy Express 999, I actually think is brilliant.
I've never seen that one.
Up to about Star Blazers, and then I kind of just focused on other things. So I have my knowledge is kind of the era that teens know nothing about. So I'm going to be like, okay, here's some cool stuff you might not know. So we'll see.
You might, you're going to turn some kids on with some cool older stuff. We'll see. If you can get a through line to something that's modern, like,
Attack on Titan.
Like, let's trace this back to blah, blah. We can actually find roots. And if you can do that, they'll be with you the whole way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reverse engineer it like that. But like I've told you personally many times, like teens are crazy for Junji Ito. Yeah. So I mean, they like cool shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's maybe take that horror thing, just kind of figure out some through line from not Dragon Ball or something. I'm going to go a little cooler, like Attack on Titan, I think, or maybe Black Clover or something. And then take that back and frame it like that, I think would be best.
Yeah. I remember when I had some credits to fill up at PSU, and one of the things I signed up for was, it was something like folklore and demonology and anime or something Yeah. And I signed up for it and I was super stoked. I showed up for the first day and like, oh, by the way, this class has changed. It is now family dynamics and family life in Japan in anime. And I was like, okay. I mean, it was a great class. I learned a ton of stuff about Japanese culture, like modern and older. Cool. It was awesome, but I mean, like, I was expecting like yokai and demons and stuff, and got very human stuff, but it was really good. So yeah, I think if you can find, I imagine there's probably some way you can connect Attack on Titan, is that what it's called, to like Godzilla, right? Or some type of like nuclear, like some whatever, the freakishness, the whatever. Like there's a way to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, my end result is to force teens to watch Qui-Gon.
There you go.
That's the end game for me. Which, goddamn, are you going to go see Weird Wars 35mm fucking showing of Qui-Gon?
I was wondering, should I tell Jacob this is happening? But
no, I know. Yeah, okay. I already know, and it really pisses me off.
The first time I saw it was with Pete, that was on the show from Ex-Hustlers. Yeah. We went to the Asian Art Museum up in Seattle when they're having a Asian Ghost Stories in Cinema series, and we just randomly picked Qui-Gon and went and saw that on the big screen.
Oh my God.
Up in that cemetery where Jimi Hendrix is buried, on Capitol Hill. So yeah, I saw it on the big screen for the first time. So I've only seen it a few times on video. So yeah, I'll probably see it again because the snow,
oh my God,
the snow sequence,
the lady in the snow, but Hoichi the Earless is the money shot of that thing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think about Hoichi the Earless constantly.
But the integration of like the reality and the sets and the eyeballs and the winter sky.
Oh no,
and stuff,
it's amazing. I mean, that's the crazy thing is that he created that. I mean, it's all on sets. That snow thing is all on sets. Yeah. All the Hoichi the Earless sequence with all the boats and everything, and and the score is so unreal. Like, I don't know. I think it's one of the greatest films ever made.
So yes, I'm probably going to go see it.
Good. I'm glad.
Okay. We saw Sunrise, and it was amazing.
Oh, Sunrise is great. I've seen that a long time ago. I need to rewatch that.
That had been on my list forever.
There's been like a reappraisal of that, and well, it's Janet Gaynor, right? I think Janet Gaynor is the lead in that. And
there's a guy named George O'Brien who is the male lead, and he Renee leaned over. She's like, "I'm sorry, am I crazy? Is that fucking Ryan Gosling?" I'm like, "Thank you, Jesus Christ." He is distractingly Ryan Gosling-esque. Like,
wow,
it was tripping us both out. In
that had to be hard for you.
Yeah, I know.
To not get a boner is what I'm saying.
I turns out I left with smaller pants than I went in with, if you know what I'm saying. Fit tighter. No, it was gorgeous, and the score was great, and absolutely beautiful film. I was worried once I sat down. I was like, wait, is it this one or is it Greed that's like 7 hours? Thank God it was Greed.
Yeah, Greed is 7 hours, and I think the only cut that exists is like 3 hours. So,
okay. So they never restored that long one.
Yeah, no, we have a book, of course. Of course, Alicia has a book, and it has a lot of the stills from the sequences that were lost.
Okay.
So yeah,
surprised that didn't get discovered somewhere in somebody's personal collection.
Right. The last time that things have been discovered, it's always like a vault in Argentina or something. And I'm always like, where are these fucking film vaults? Nazis, man.
Is that von Stroheim?
It is von Stroheim.
So yeah, I mean, as you were saying that, I'm like, wait, isn't he German? So
yep, he is. He is. He was very anti-Nazi though.
Okay,
he really was.
Well, I've always liked him as an actor.
Maybe not as much as Fritz Lang was, but
okay.
Yeah, let's just say they both were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That was great. I'll talk about my other thing I want to talk about next time because this is a good bonus show.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I thought you wanted me to keep it short and
I do want to keep it short, but I feel like I bulldozed you. No. You.
I think life and organic conversation is more important than presentation.
Agreed.
So I'll talk about it next time. It's not going anywhere. It's only 113 years old.
Yeah.
Well, is it time for you know who to?
Yep. All right, Sweet Pea. You got to give the people what they want. So,
yeah, look at that.
Oh, this is the stuff. So, from Sweet Pea and me to you, that's the bonus show. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Okay, there you go.
Wow.